Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And you know, I changed my plans this morning. I was gonna do a video focusing on. There's a lot of stuff circling around which I haven't covered yet. The upcoming. What's it called again? Legend of this. I won't say Cybermen, but that's quite a good Big Finish play with Colin Baker and Fraser Hines as Jamie. So that's quite good. No, Legend of the Sea Devils, which I think is Legend of the Sea Devil, or Legend of the Sea Devils, which I think is going to be probably awful. I guess probably make you want to jump out of a high building. Please do not do that. Don't do that. It'll probably be awful. I can't do it. You know, like here's the thing, right? I bitch about the current era of Doctor Who a lot, right? Too much. And the thing is, I like Doctor Who. I actually like Doctor Who, and I want to talk about Doctor Who that I'm excited about and like. So today's video is what I wasn't planning on doing, and I'm so happy to do it, right? Because I saw this article on What Culture. What Culture, by the way, really likes the current era, so that's really a good source of places to find just insane articles. But I saw this article on there about Doctor Who's that never happened. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I was reading it, and I don't want to read it because I wanted to read it on camera, right? I wanted to get my live response. But like, as I started skimming through it, I was like, oh man, I would love to see it. And I was excited, right? I was excited about Doctor Who, which I really haven't been a lot. I mean, last time I was excited, well, I won't say I haven't been a lot. It was like the season 22 trailer. That's when I was super excited. Okay, so it wasn't that long ago, right? It wasn't that Blu-ray trailer. It wasn't that long ago, and I really enjoyed Destiny. So I don't live in an era where like, oh no, Doctor Who's awful all the time. But like, I really want to do something positive rather than go, ah! So, and I understand you often come to my channel for me to bitch about Doctor Who. Just let's be happy for a day, okay? Let's be happy. How about that for a plan? Before we get into it, can you hit the like button? That'd be freaking awesome. Can you hit the share button? Even more awesome. Can you imagine? Yeah, you hit the like button and you go, wow. That was pretty darn awesome. I am an awesome person. Then you think, I can't really get much more awesome than that. And you get much more awesome. You get a lot more awesome because you hit the share button, which is just beyond fan-dabby double dosing. But then you can step it up one more notch and be super awesome. If you're not subscribed, if you could hit that subscribe button, that would be fantastic. Now, if you are subscribed and you're on YouTube, they may have unsubscribed you. They probably have unsubscribed you, right? They may have well have unsubscribed you. So yesterday was Sunday, and Sunday's the day I noticed YouTube turns off the throttling on my account, and that's the day I get all my subscribers for the week, and then they just peel them off over the next week. It's the weird, we can see you do it. It's noticeable, but whatever. I'm happy for the platform. I'm happy you're here. But if you're subscribed, can you make sure you're still subscribed? If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much. That'd be lovely. Fan-dabby double dozy. Comment. Let me know what you think. If you're on Rumble, hit the Rumble button, baby, which is so much more fun to say than to actually do. Okay, like, share, subscribe, comment, Rumble. Substack. Sign up my Substack. I've been a bad boy. I actually got too much work on. I always have too much work on, but I got too much work on right now, and I didn't finish colouring the Ice Warriors strip for Sunday, so I'm thinking I'm going to hold it over to next week, because I just need a bit of a breather, right? I'll put another archive strip out there today or tomorrow. I'm recording this on Monday, so hang in there. But Substack is my email newsletter. I put out a bunch of comic strips on there, stuff I've done, vintage stuff that's out of print. If I can get hold of the photo strip Doom Lord from the 1980s Eagle, I will so run that. Okay, I really miss that because I haven't read it since it first came out, and I remember enjoying it, right? So that's on my Substack. Links in the video note. There's a paid one as well, which I'm very, very bereft with. I gotta send content out to that, and I'm got too much bloody on. That's my problem. I got too much on. Fine. Like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack, Rumble. I think we covered everything. Okay, I think we covered everything. Let's get to the point of the video, which is 10 unmade Doctor Who stories we wish we'd seen. Yes, I agree. And they start off with the number 10 because it's got the best artwork. But we will get to that when we get to that one. Exposed to the time vortex, Rose Tyler, now in the form of Bad Wolf, says she can see everything. I remember that. Yeah, it was quite good to see. See, I like how they were just feeling their way out to see. Look, I'm talking about Doctor Who. I like, right? I'm happy now, right? But I like the it was an interesting way to get to it. An interesting take on a season finale when they hadn't done it before. Right, and it was still kind of small, even though it was big. It took them a few years to really work it out, right? They could really get that spectacle. You still had that, like, contemporary cop drama feel to the season 1, from 2005 with special effects. But basically, yeah, you had it felt like Line of Duty with lots of special effects, right? That's basically it. And they did the end of the universe quite nice, or the end of the world, even though they had the Daleks destroy the Earth. But again, that just seemed to have no real reason other than to go da da da. But they were feeding their way. Anyway. Everything it could be, and there's been a great many could be's in Doctor Who's five decades, well, close to the 6, and the road from 1963 to 2022 is littered with half-finished scripts. Okay, most of them been made by Big Finish at this point. Rejected pitches, most of them been made by Big Finish, right? I don't know. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to get that original version of Ark in Space. I love Ark in Space, right? Ark in Space is a great story. I really prefer the updated special effects. If you're, let me know what you think. Okay, but I really do prefer the updated special effects on that one. I wish they did a few more CGI Wirren. But the Ark just sounds. Well, last time they did that was with Revenge of the Cybermen. Then they did the original version, which was Return of the Cybermen, which was essentially strip out the Robert Holmes and Philip Hinchcliffe, and you got a Patrick Troughton-esque story with Tom Baker starring in it. So it didn't really work at all. And then they have a table read for the Terry Nathan's original script for Genesis of the Daleks coming out. Not for me, I think. I don't know. The number of unfinished Doctor stories is so large that Big Finish has made a whole range of audio dramas out of them. Well, there you go. I should have finished the paragraph before I went into that. There are numerous reasons that Doctor Who stories don't get made. The infamous story of the Doctor's family home, Longbarrow, was deemed too literary to work on TV. No! It wasn't too literary. It was giving away too much. They set up this big plot arc of they made the Doctor much more mysterious. With Sylvester McCoy, who are you, Doctor? More than just a Time Lord, right? And that was going to be the eventual payoff to that whole arc. And they would have done that. That would be in season 26, right? It's season 20. It sound like a great story, right? It really sounded like a great story. And I'm amazed that's one Big Finish hasn't done an adaptation of yet. And those adaptations, I think, are those New Adventures adaptations, Missing Events adaptations are some of the best things they've done. Equally, the infamous Shard, Douglas Adams' unfinished Doctor Who Swan Song was unfinished due to management lockout at the BBC. It was industrial action. It's been finished more times in more mediums than any other Doctor Who story. That is true. Most Unmade Doctor Who stories don't even make it as far as what one had, even let alone 6. Is that how many it had? Wait. So Shard had the Big Finish audio version and the McGann real-time version. Is that so? We're going to count that as 2, right? And then we got the 90s one with the linking material by Tom Baker, and then you're going to count Ian Levine's one. I've never seen that. That's 4. And then if you count the Blu-ray release with the animations, 5. And if you want to count the episodic version on the season 17 Blu-ray box set, I guess that's 6. Okay, fine, 6 adaptations. I think you're stretching it a bit there, quite frankly. Almost 6, and instead of disappear into the ether, become the stuff of legends. This list collects some of those legends. Now, this one I only heard about recently. Number 10, Rose Tyler was actually created by the Doctor. So this I heard about recently. I'm glad they didn't do it, right? And they kind of went that way with Clara as well, from what I recall. I don't know. Clara just got a bit boring and bogged down, I think. Honestly, I understand the continuity of continuing a companion from Matt Smith to Capaldi, right? I do understand that. But keeping her that extra year seemed just like, really? I mean, honestly, you could have written it out that year and brought somebody new in, mid-season. I think that would have been better. And I think the proof of the pudding is that Bill Potts were a constant talk about how much she likes to be a lesbian, how much she fancies girls, was so much better a companion by the time he got to season 10. Rusty Davis' first season of Doctor Who almost features a script by another lauded British screenwriter. Davis had approached his friend Paul Abbott to write an episode for the series. The pair had previously worked together on Abbott's BBC series Linda Green, which also featured Chris Eccleston. I know nothing about any of that, okay? Abbott's episode would have explored the idea that Rose was an experiment by the Doctor to create the perfect companion. The idea was developed further than that wasn't developed much further due to commitments with the increasingly popular Shameless. Oh, that's where I know him from. Now, Paul Abbott then would have been perfect casting to write for season 1, the 2005 season. Because I always said that's essentially Shameless meets Doctor Who, right? I think the whole Rusty Davis era is essentially Shameless meets Doctor Who. Hey, listen, the whole Rose Tyler and Jackie, they're all a little bit dodgy, right? And I like that, they're all kind of friendly dodgy. It's clear in the small amount of films given by RTD how the Doctor bred Rose for this purpose. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, engineered Jackie and Pete's courtship, perhaps. Oh, so we don't know how. It's perhaps, well, it sounds very much like the Stephen Moffat story that went on to become A Christmas Carol, which was a short story in Decalogue or Short Trips, so one of the short story books, where the Seventh Doctor is trying to get past a irritable official, and so he keeps going back through this person's life and making it so they're a happier, nicer person. So this sounds very similar to that. It's great to imagine how different tone would have been if it was revealed the Doctor was a manipulative geneticist. We've seen the Doctor manipulate commanders before, of course, but this was with a lighter, more accessible tone of 2005, not reboot revival. Unless Abbott's story would have built in some kind of fake-out ending, perhaps some sort of alternate reality. No, I think I'm kind of glad they didn't go for this in the end. I think the fates. The fates were kind to Doctor Who on this one. Okay, next. Killer Cats of Gallifrey! Yeah, this one always fascinating. Here, I think I got some images. Where is it? This was from Doctor Who magazine. There you go. Let me zoom in a little bit. These are a couple of the costume designs, and I think with the makeup design as well. So there you go. This is from Doctor Who magazine. I believe issue 337, right? I believe it's issue 337. I can't remember for sure. Let's read the story, because I remember it was quite interesting, and I can certainly see why it didn't happen. In a follow-up to Deadly Assassin, Doctor Who production team wanted to return to Gallifrey for the following season. Well, they didn't they? What was it? Season 14 had Deadly Assassin. Season 15 was Invasion of Time, right? Yeah. Season 16 was Key to Time. Yeah, okay, fine. They did. Okay, wanted to go Gallifrey for the first season. The story ended up being Invasion of Time. I should just really read the next sentence. Okay, that's the... I think that's the go-to message, right? Eventually, a conspiracy thriller caper light years away in tone from Robert Holmes' masterpiece. Oh, this is a Robert Holmes script. Wow. However, the original pitch for... was it the Invasion of Time, a conspiracy thriller, light years away in tone from Robert Holmes' masterpiece, The Deadly Assassin. Okay, fine. However, the original pitch for season 15 finale was markedly different. The Killer Cats of Dark would have revealed that the planet of Time was also the home race of the cat people, whose culture was similar to those of Asian countries. Oh my, Chris Chibnall would have gone back there, let me tell you. Whose culture was similar to Asian countries. Not much is known about the story other than it was to feature a gladiator-style stadium full of cat people, which is why they couldn't make it, right? It was like, yeah, no, let's just go to what hospital was it? doubled as a TARDIS. It's like, let's do that instead. That seems like a bit better. You know, a few Sontarans outfits and Gallifrey. It was a cheapy story. I mean, like, all those costumes are already done, and they filmed a lot of it on location. And I guess they already had the Panopticon sets and all those sets from Gallifrey before. Not much is known about the story other than featured a gladiator style, in front of a full stadium of cat people. Perhaps it would have been written out. Louise Jameson had always wanted sacrificing herself to battle for the Doctor. Oh, that would have been a bad idea. Yeah, Doctor Who. I remember, right. Again, when they were writing out Rose, right, and they had. Wellesley Davis is great at building up anticipation, marketing anticipation. So the trailer was, Rose kept saying, "This is the way I died. This is the day I died," you know. And then afterwards, when she didn't die, Wellesley Davis in the Confidential. Do you remember when Doctor Who was popular like that? In the Confidential was like, well, of course we're not going to kill Rose. It's like she's such a beloved character, and that's not what Doctor Who is. Doctor Who is an uplifting show, right? It goes against its core to do that. I mean, you can get away with Adric, okay, but Rose not so much. David Weir's script got as far as a costume stage with designer Dee Robertson submitting design sketches. In the end, the script editor, Anthony Reid, and director Gerald Blake decided it was too difficult to achieve. Yeah, it would have looked awful. It would have looked awful. Really, yes. I don't know how badly they would have done it on Doctor Who's already tight budget. Instead, they opted to make the Invasion of Time, which introduced the Outsiders to Gallifrey. Yeah, in a quarry. no stadiums and cat people there. Gallifrey, cheaper to realise humanoid population had turned their backs on Time Lord society. Yeah, I guess so. And, honestly, I like the Shibugans as a bit of Doctor Who lore, right? That sounds pretty good. Jamie McCrimmon's happy ending worked. Listen, I think my guess is with his time with Deborah Watling and what's her name? Wendy Pabry, I think he had quite a few of those. Okay, I think that probably happened. I wouldn't be surprised if Pat Troughton got a look in as well. But let's have a look. That was a spurious rumor. I didn't mean that at all. The ending of the War Games is heartbreaking. Sent back to their appropriate time and place, Jamie and Zoe have their memories wiped of their many adventures. With the Doctor. Not so bad for Zoe, who can go back to a fairly comfortable life on a space station. No, I disagree with you there. Listen, I understand. Life in antiquity was very, very hard, right? Very, very hard for everybody. That being said, I think people were generally speaking much happier. Much, much, much happier then. So, I think it would have been fine. Jamie faces much of his life, returning to his life following the Battle of Culloden. Well, that's right. He faces slavery, murder, or as detailed in one comic by legendary Grant Morrison, madness. Well, no, he just told the truth, which often does get misconstrued as madness. His ending, however, was almost much more hopeful in a story that would have formed part of the it was called the third part in a Yeti trilogy. He and the TARDIS would have arrived in a Scottish castle owned by an aging laird. The castle soon comes under siege by the great intelligence of the Yeti. I wonder where this would have been. The Doctor defeats them, and Jamie decides to stay at the castle, becoming its new laird. He falls in love with a local girl, Fiona, and is left to live happily ever after. The story was never filmed due to an ongoing copyright dispute. Oh, no! Oh, that's tragic! Between BBC and Melvin Hazeman and Henry Lincoln, who eventually withdrew their script, so Jamie is left to the fate on the film about Culloden. That's tragic! Oh, that is so sad! Oh, it's always the way, isn't it? Oh, man! Because if you haven't seen Web of Fear, it's a must see. It's one of the best Doctor Who stories I've ever seen. It's pure Doctor Who. I absolutely adore that, right? Well, I like a lot of this stuff, but that's just tragic, right? And I'm not entirely sure that I'm on board with this, after the War Games thing they're doing with the second Doctor, Big Finish, with the But much older Jamie on the cover, right? It looks like Jamie in his 40s. They've been what? They've been traveling around for 20 years. I don't know. I don't know. Listen, I'll get the first set and check it out. I've still got to listen to the Annihilators. I got like 5 episodes that to go, which is in. So yeah. Again, they're doing a lot of recasting right now, Big Finish, and I'm not so sure I'm on board with it because the quality of the writing is just, in my opinion, much lower than it was. And it's just, I'm less engaged, right? I'm much less engaged, and I think there's a lot more member bearers going on to get people in. Okay, so that's basically what it is. Honestly, I think everything revolves around a healthy core of the brand, right? And I don't think it's healthy, and I think they're just going out to everything. Matt Berry as a meddling monk, perfect casting, right? Don't get me wrong. I like Rufus Sewell. I think Rufus Sewell, who did it on Big Finish, really good. Matt Berry, though, as a meddling monk. How much more perfect can that be? When was this going to be? Peter Harness, who co-wrote the dark urban thriller, The Zygon Inversion, Zygon Invasion, with Stephen Moffat. Now, I just want to talk about that for 1 second. Fantastic Zygon story. Just one real problem with it. It copped out, right? The ending just was never there. The ending, okay, it was an allegory to ISIS, very obviously, and Muslim extremism embedded within Western civilization, right? So it was which was a big buzz thing at the time. Doctor Who has always been on the top of the wave of the cutting edge. Forgive me mixing my many wet metaphors there, but it dealt with it, and I'm really happy they dealt with it. And then they copped out in the end, right? You had the Doctor make this wonderful anti-war speech, and the ISIS Zygons went, "Oh, okay then, silly us." No, they wouldn't do that under any circumstances, which I think makes a much more interesting and darker villain myself. So he pitched another story that was much lighter. Okay, and again, Peter Harness, I think, did a fine job. The story was to feature the return of renegade Time Lord, last seen in the 60s, the meddling monk. Also played by the goodies Graham Garden on audio opposite Paul McGann. Again, great stories, right? Really good casting, and then they regenerated him as Rufus Sewell. I also thought was very good, also against Paul McGann, and then they brought in a new incarnation with David Tennant, with Gemma Whelan. Not very good at all. Clearly only brought in because she's a woman, right? Clearly. I mean, oh my God. Have you seen the Lord of the Rings trailer? I just watched it. It's like stunning and brave woman. Then there's another stunning and brave woman. Oh, the stunning and brave women. Oh, I wonder if the white men are the bad guys, right? Just when it's like, look, I saw the Lord of the Rings movies. I kind of read The Hobbit when I was a kid. I'm not a Lord of the Rings groupie. I'm not like, I don't know everything about it. I don't hardly know anything about it, quite frankly. I have a rough idea. I understand Lord of the Rings fans are like in freefall meltdown. I'm sorry, mate. Sorry you were this late to the party, okay? I wish you missed the era of woke, but I guess not. Another $1 billion TV show that will look fantastic and be devoid of its of what it is. Fine. Last thing, originally played by Peter Butterworth, Harness envisioned Matt Berry in the role. Really good idea. The plot was to feature the meddlesome Time Lord calling the 12th Doctor for help when he accidentally averts the Russian Revolution by playing Boney M to Rasputin. Oh my God, that's so good! I want that story, right? Oh, I want that. I want 2 more years of Capaldi as well, but I want that story. That sounds freaking awesome. They then tried to set history back on track with the monk eventually taking old Rasputin's identity. It's a mad comic idea, but it would have worked. It would have worked with Matt Berry and Capaldi. Man, it would have worked well with them. One can only imagine what a brilliant comedy double like Capaldi and Berry would have been made. Yes. Oh, every line I'm reading of this hurts me. Moffat down the pitch. Moffat. Oh, bad Moffat. I want to get a copy of Doctor Who magazine, roll it up and go boo on his nose. No, don't turn down Matt Berry as the meddling monk. Okay, no. We want Matt Berry as a meddling monk. What turned down the pitch for Harness's next story in the series was the underwhelming pyramid at the end of the world. I like that. What's your bloody problem? I liked everything about Pyramid at the end of the world. I don't know what people's problems are with it, but it's not a popular story, right? It's not very popular at all. Okay, watching a blind doctor trying to crack an entry code is nowhere near as much fun as him mucking around Rasputin, Matt Berry, and the music of Boney M. First album I ever bought, by the way. Rah, Rasputin. You know, I think, yeah. That was also By the Rivers of Babylon was on that. By the Rivers of Babylon. Which is really funny, by the way, because whenever Jews do, or religious Jews do grace after meals, there's two like bits of psalms that one reads first, which nobody does. Nobody does. There's one Song of the Ascents, Lord, that goes like that in Hebrew. But the other one is By the Rivers of Babylon. It's exactly the Boney M song. And so whenever anybody goes to read it, I always read the English in the singing By the Rivers of Babylon. No, it doesn't go down well. Okay, it doesn't go down well. People are like, what? What is this? The final game. Yeah, this is a bit apocryphal. I've heard about this, but I mean, they referenced it in Last of the Time Lords, the 3-parter at the end of. I'm gonna say season. Was it season 3? Season 3. It was Martha walking around. Last of the Time Lords, right? When they said the doctor, is the master your brother? It's like, don't be ridiculous. And that was one of the things they were going to do with it. Okay, introduced as a series of Moriarty to the third Doctor of Sherlock Holmes. The master was intended to be written out towards the end of the Pertwee era. Producer Barry Letts and co-writer Robert Sloman conceived a story that will see the former friends do battle one final time. I do always like it when the Doctor and Master have to team up to just I mean, like every week. Every week in the 70s, Master has some dastardly plan and it goes wrong and he teams up with the Doctor and then, next week, then he drives off in a hovercraft laughing maniacally. Okay, and next week you're back again with a giant chicken that's supposed to be a time monster. Badly realised, but the more I think about the killer cats of Gallifrey, the more I think about I would love to be in the room when the guy in front of a green screen or a blue screen in that time monster outfit goes and flap it like that's got to be funny to watch. Right? When they bring out the Blu-ray of that season, I'm hoping they got that outtake. That'd be awesome. Not outtake, whatever, original footage. Over the course of the final confrontation, it will be revealed the Master was either the Doctor's brother or personification of his dark side. I prefer him being brothers, quite frankly. I mean, I guess they did a personification of his dark side with the Valiant. But then again, you have Jodie. I think that's a personification of his stupid side. That would make sense, right? Of his evil side. The climactic scenes where the Master, the Master sacrificing himself to save the Doctor. Yes, his former friend. It would have been wonderful. Would have loved to have seen that. While it was never produced, the story has been hugely influential over the years. The idea of the Master's conscience catching up with them will form a key part of Moffat's final season showrun, and I think that part really worked. Right, I think that was fantastic. Not only that, but the idea of the Master sacrificing their life to save the Doctor, it was echoed in the climax of End of Time Part 2, where he forces the Time Lords back to hell. But I don't think it was quite as noble as it would have been, right? That's my guess. The story was never produced due to the tragic and untimely death of actor Roger Delgado. His loss heavily impacted Pertwee, who made the decision to leave the show alongside script editor Terrence Dix and Barry Letts. Yeah. I do think that was amazing. Man, you should listen. Well, I don't know. I can't remember what Blu-ray it's on. Not Blu-ray, DVD it's on. They have John Levine talking about Roger Delgado, nearly in tears, like how much he loved that person, right? And I like hearing those real stories. And it's so funny to look at it now, right? Because it's so not cool. This was so super cool in the 70s. It was like James Bond and Blofeld, like the best versions of them. Just super, super cool. But never mind. Return of the Autons, number 5. Now, which one was this going to be? My guess, I'm not reading this yet, is going to be Yellow Fever and How to Cure It, which there can't be anything of it whatsoever. Or Big Finish would have made that so many times over. If Doctor Who hadn't been placed on hiatus for season 22, there was a host of adventures planned. Many of these, like The Nightmare Fair and Mission to Magnus, have both been novelised and dramatised in the intervening years. Okay, Nightmare Fair, very, very, very good, and I like they cast David Bladili, what's his name? The guy who played the villain in Robots of Death and played K9 for one season. As the monk, and I thought he was very, very good at that. There was also a great companion chronicle and a 7th Doctor story with him and as not the monk, as the Celestial Toy Maker, right? Really good, okay? Really, really, really good. I recommend it highly. So that's Nightmare Fair. Mission to Magnus is awful, okay? Mission to Magnus is beyond awful. It would have seemed dated and insanely sexist in 1964, let alone 82. Oh my god, it's so bad, right? It has the imagine the two Ronnies continuing sketch The Worm Has Turned, right? Where women have taken control of the reality. Man, they just needed to come to 2022 and see what it looked like. If they came to 2022 and looked at the Lord of the Rings trailer, they would have said, oh yeah, no, that's 100% we're there. Or if they watched Resident Alien, oh my god, I love Resident Alien, right? I was loving Resident Alien. I'm on season 2, episode 3, woke as hell. I like just agonizingly woke. It was about a ladies' night out and they complain about unequal pay. There isn't unequal pay! Okay? That doesn't exist! And just every moronic feminist trope that doesn't make any sense or is not tethered to reality in any way, shape, or form. Full display, and it was just like, please just be a one-off episode. It was truly awful, right? Truly, truly awful. Anyway, yeah, so speaking of the Nightmare of Mission to Magnus, one of the unmade stories that remains so due to the lack of finished scripts is Robert Holmes' Yellow Fever and How to Cure It. I just don't understand why they can't take what material they have and come up with something. All right, I'm intrigued. In the classic example of producer John Nathan Turner's grab bag approach to story commissioning, it's kind of what they do in Big Finish as well now. It was to be set in Singapore and feature the... Oh, man, Singapore's... everything I hear about Singapore sounds absolutely lovely, right? I love Singapore. There's a guy who comments a lot who lives in Singapore, and every time he does and talks about it, I go... I really want to go. I like Singapore. Sounds wonderful, right? If you think of anywhere to go to ride out the apocalypse, my money is on Singapore, right? That's what I would recommend. And if you're already there, you should be grateful. We set in Singapore and feature the return of the Master, the Rani, and for the first time in over 20 years, the Autons. Well, the Autons were also supposed to be in the 5 Doctors, weren't they? They were supposed to take the... they were supposed to be the Cybermen going into... Rassilon's tower, but being zapped by the Master, but also when the Third Doctor and Sarah Jane were confronted by the Raston Warrior robot. What a great idea for a cheap villain that was, like a Raston Warrior robot, and they were saved by the Cybermen. That was supposed to be Autons, right? They were supposed to be menaced by Autons. In that section of just generally speaking, there's supposed to be Autons around. Never happened. Don't know why I have never happened, but probably because my guess will be because Robert Holmes did the first take on the 5 Doctors, and I think it was the 6 Doctors. They did, and when they moved on, maybe they took the idea with them. Fine. Also appearing would have been the Brigadier, who will be in Singapore on holiday before being dragged into the adventure. Man, this sounds great! I don't know what to tell you. All that's really known about the story is that Master Arani would be in disguise as a street theatre performance and in league with Autons. John Nathan Turner had done the location recce or holiday subtitle, some would call it. They did that a lot. But not much else was prepared beyond this. It sounds like an overstuffed combination of elements, but if anyone could have made it work, Robert Holmes. Yeah, listen, I really just think they should take these sparse few elements and make a story called Yellow Fever, right? And say this isn't the Robert Holmes one, this is inspired by it. That would be fine. I can't say who they are. Naughty National Socialists from Germany in the 1930s in the British Museum. Doesn't have quite the same ring, does it? Mark Gatiss has written for almost every series of Doctor Who from 2005 to 2017, with gaps here and there. One of these gaps was a full series, so that would be Donna and 10th Doctor, when a script entitled The Suicide Exhibition was dropped in favour of James Moran, Fathers of Pompeii. Fathers of Pompeii was excellent. Okay, I can't complain. Because Fathers of Pompeii, just what a great story. And I really think it sets up the Doctor and Donna relationship and why Donna is there, right? To make the Doctor better and keep him on track, right? And that was what that story was. Also, Capaldi, was in. And generally speaking, it was great. I can't remember the name of the guy now, the soothsayer. When the soothsayer comes in and says Lord of Time, and I love Tennant's reaction to that. Great story, right? So I'm not sad we got this. we got that story. Would have liked to have seen this too. It was held over as a potential special for the following year, but ultimately went unmade. Set in the British Museum at the height of the Blitz, it was an Indiana Jones style adventure that pitted the Doctor and Donna against a team of naughty National Socialists from the 1930s in Germany, trying to release something. Okay, I like the idea of being Indiana Jonesy. I think that works much more with Matt Smith's Doctor. In fact, what's the Pandorica Opens? Ken, isn't this more fun talking about Doctor Who that excites us, right? Isn't it more fun? I'm just enjoying myself. I'm sorry. The Pandorica Opens. So the bit where they go into the Underhenge, right? And they're like, it's all very Indiana Jonesy. On set, they played the Indiana Jones incidental music as they're going down, and then Murray Gold did something in that same vein. But it really, really, really worked. I like the idea of being Indiana Jones. I don't think you could have really done that. I think Matt Smith will be the best person to do that. He was the closest to an action hero type Doctor, even though he very much wasn't. Unmade saying okay. So far, it sounds like the plot of Indiana Jones, was it 5 or whatever, the Phoebe Waller-Bridge Jones and the Temple of Suck. The music, which is all about time travel MacGuffin, apparently. Museum is revealed to be a giant puzzle box, and the Doctor and Donna have to deal with traps, booby traps, and various other nasties in order to stop the naughty National Socialists from 1930s Germany from achieving their goal. Okay, so it's like a City of the Excellence sort of thing. Okay. The Suicide exhibition refers to a more expandable exhibits that have replaced valuable works. These items therefore wouldn't be missed if the bombs fell. The priceless artifacts were hidden away in various locations, not unlike Gattis' script, which has sadly never seen the light of day. He would reinvigorate the public interest in another London tourist attraction, however, when he set Victory of the Daleks in Churchill's war rooms. Again, other than the Teletubby Daleks, Victory for the Daleks was the Victory for the Daleks or of the Daleks? They had so much good about that. I love the Spitfires in space, right? I just love the Spitfires in space. Who better to voice it than Mark Gatiss? And when I was watching that, that's when I had my idea. Said, please, Mark Gatiss, please, could you please showrun a big budget version of Dan Dare for the modern age? I mean, like on this sort of time slot, like 7 o'clock Saturday time slot. I think that would have been awesome, beyond awesome. Just based on that. Danny Boy to the Doctor thing, Danny Boy to the Doctor. The live Halloween special. Oh, I've never heard of this before, right? I've never heard of that. That's an interesting idea. Now, I have heard something vaguely like this, because they did a Big Finish story, the Nowhere Place, I think. which was a similar idea. But let's read this one. Can a special be replaced with an episode in the what? Can special be replaced with episode in the entry title, please? Okay, the live Halloween episode. Fine. On further research, it was never considered a special. Well, okay. Rather than write that sentence in, why don't you say the live Halloween? Just okay, whatever. You're being paid by the word. Another full series that eventually abandoned by the production team was Century House, written by Tom McRae. So Tom McRae did a mediocre job with the Cybermen two-parter. I think everything good about it was written by Russell T Davies, right? That opening scene with Trigger, was it Roger Lloyd Pack? He has this great dialogue, skin of metal, and that was so Russell T. I might be wrong. Maybe it was Tom McRae. It seemed like very Rusty Davies to me. Ryder previously written the Cyberman two-parter for the second series, and was this time given a very different concept by Russell T Davies, designed to function as a companion light episode, which would focus mostly on the Doctor taking part in an episode of Most Haunted. Okay, that's an interesting idea. And again, to do it around Halloween would have been fun. Donna would be watching the live broadcast at home as the Doctor and team learn that the ghost hunters investigate. It would be more fun if it was Jackie. I hate to tell you! Wouldn't it be great if it was Jackie sitting at home? Investigate the haunting of the Red Windows. Davis liked the script, but worried that following the Unicorn and Wasp, it would have been too much comedy. Okay, that's fair enough. See, again, that's why I'm optimistic for RTD2, right? I'm very optimistic about RTD2. The story was eventually shelved and replaced by the Rusty Davis pen Midnight. Oh, what a perfect story! And again, I know it's not beloved by all. What a perfect, chilling horror. And this is something is interesting. See, this is Rusty Davis who said, RTD2 is designed to scare the crap out of you kiddies. That was one of the scariest episodes of Doctor Who. Fantastic performances. And yet, what was so scary about it? It was like some kind of like non-corporeal villain, a monster that you've never seen before. It was just dialogue. How terrifying was that? I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was a fun concept, but it's unlikely we'll ever get see on TV, as given Ghost Hunters isn't as popular as it used to be. See, again, this is what Rusty did. It was great, putting his fingers on the zeitgeist of society, right? Stephen King's Stephen Fry King Arthur story. Ooh, I never heard of this. Okay, I never heard of it. Wasn't he a disappointment in both Death Comes to Time, playing the Chancellor, Minister of Chance, and of course Spyfall, which is just, I mean, really, what a nondescript, pointless character written for a celebrity cameo, right? It could have been pretty much anyone. What was it? Helen Mirren was busy that day. How exciting was the lead up to Doctor Who's second series? Not only the return of Cybermen Sarah Jane and K9 had been confirmed, but by the way, what a great run of stories you had. What's the one with the werewolf? Great werewolf story. What was it again? Great opening as well, which seemed like a BBC ident from the time, with the monks flying off the wing and the robes and doing that slow motion. What's the name of that damn story? So you had that, you had school reunion, and then you had the Madame Pompadour story, wasn't it? This block of three was so good. But fans were also promised an episode written by Stephen Fry. I didn't know that. The polymath author and comedian got far into the writing process, attending the first read-through of the series and going down to dinner with his fellow Doctor Who writers. Well, I don't blame you. His episode was set in the 1920s and would have featured an Arthurian legend. Why is this a novel? What the hell? Like, why is this not a book? Or a Big Finish episode. Like, this should be a book. This sounds like it should be a book. More specifically, The Green Knight, featuring recently immortalized on film by Dev Patel. Dev Patel's oh no, I think of the wrong person. Still, that sounds interesting. Fry's episode would reveal that Gawain has survived his beheading because he was actually of alien origin, and the finished draft was deemed too expensive to realize in its original form, and rewrites were suggested. Man, oh, it'll be a great 10th Doctor novel. It's tragic. This is like, what's that? Was it what's the name? Steve Goss, who writes all of these ones. Like, get him on this. Sadly, in demand, multi-talented figure like Stephen Fry is constantly in demand. Well, you just said in demand. It's constantly in demand, and he was unable to commit to rewrites. The story was sadly abandoned, and despite some suggestions that it was made it may feature it in the following series, never surfaces again. Russell May, RTD2, put him in for that. That sounds awesome. What is more upsetting, the story was replaced with the critically derided Fear Her. Yeah, okay, I didn't like Fear Her, okay? I like the Scribble Monster, right? That's the only thing about it I like, but I didn't really, the performances were all very good. Sentient crayon drawings are cheaper to realize than Arthurian legends, but much less exciting. Yeah, that's a bit disappointing, right? That is a bit disappointing. And then number one, the final one is going to be Tom Baker's movie, Doctor Who Mixed Scratch Band. Here, so 1 second. Let's look at this post there. I think this is by Daryl Joyce. Love this. Oh my God, do I love this. Very, very, very authentic movie poster feel for what I think, what he felt the movie would have been based on the script. There's also this one. I don't know who did this one, but again, very, very authentic, and in context. It was eventually, of course, produced as a novel a couple of years ago. Tom Baker, I can't remember who he wrote with, but look at this is the reason I'm not that interested. Like, this is a bit. This looks awesome, right? What is it? That looks awesome. This looks awesome. This looks kind of dull, right? I hate to tell you, that looks just kind of dull. This looks awesome. Fine, let's read about this. By the way, this is I can't imagine what this movie would have actually been like, right? It would be in okay, this is what it would have been like. I remember, oh man, I was young. So it must have been 81, and maybe 82, so I'm like 11. And where am I? Brighton, Margate. We're in the cinema, and they had Doctor Who, the Peter Cushing Doctor Who movie playing there. And I remember going to it and then coming out and then looking in another theater, and there was a scene from Empire Strikes Back, which is why I remember the year with Darth Vader's helmet being put back on, right? So it would have been kind of like that. I mean, again, this like 1970s movie. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what it would have been. There's no real frame of reference to see what the special effects would have been like. I guess the special effects would have been kind of like the Bond movies of the era, right? Which the Derek Meddings type look. Okay, one of the great what-if moments in Doctor Who history is Tom Baker, Ian Martin's proposed movie to the mid to late 70s. The project had director attached. I didn't know that. Who could never raise the required funds to make it reality. Again, tragic and amazing. They couldn't. I think how would it have done? I don't know. Again, you're probably looking at Battle Beyond the Stars type budget if it's post Star Wars, right? Had it been made, it would have been an incredible combination, memorable combination of folk horror and psychedelic sci-fi. Yes, yeah. The Doctor meets Scratchman, who was to pit the Doctor, Harry, and Sarah against scarecrows in a Scottish village, and the devil himself. They're also supposed to be Cybermen in it as well, weren't they? Climaxing in a giant pinball featuring the Daleks. Yeah, so eventually the villain, who's got a giant bull head, it has the Doctor, Sarah, and Harry. And I got an image of it right here. 1 second. Not a real image, obviously. Over here. Doctor, Sarah, and Harry in some kind of like weird pinball game. And then at some point they release the Daleks because it's not going well enough. I'm thinking this is Daryl Joyce as well, right? And then look at the villain. I'm thinking this is Daryl Joyce as well. Unless I'm wrong, and I apologize. Tom Baker facing off against Vincent Price, who himself would have made an excellent movie doctor, is a tantalizing... Oh, one second. I missed the line. Potential casting scratchman includes Vincent Price or Leonard Roster. Oh, yeah. Listen, Vincent Price or Leonard Roster, they're basically interchangeable. What? Vincent Price or Leonard Roster? Let's be clear. You would have ended up with Leonard Bloody Roster. Okay, that's what happened. Tom Baker facing against Vincent Price, who would himself made an excellent movie doctor, is such a tantalizing concept for sci-fi and horror fans. Oh, wouldn't you have loved to see like a continuation of the Cushing movies with Vincent Price taking over? Oh, that would have been awesome. Whilst the film was never saw the light of day, BBC Books eventually commissioned Tom Baker to adapt his and Martin's treatment on the novel. It's both creepy black comic Doctor Who adventure and touching tribute to the Baker era. I honestly, and I know it sounds stupid, what put me off it was the Jodie Whittaker cameo. This came out before Jodie Whittaker came out, and you know, it didn't go that well. Did not go that well. But it was done before, so I can forgive them that. But it's just like, to me, this doesn't seem like it's a novel. It seems like it's a kinetic piece of entertainment, which means it's, I think, much better. At the very least, needs a big finish adaptation. Russell T Davies 2 is coming. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a Doctor Who multiverse. I'm really thinking there's going to be some kind of animated content, and why not? If they want to do something crazy, if they want to do something absolutely crazy, do an animated version of this movie, right? Tom Baker's still alive, and it looks like you better get a shift on. Tom, you should live for 120 years or more, right? But he looks like you should get a shift on, because you ain't recasting that role in a hurry. When Tom Baker passes on, please stop making full Doctor audios. I like that though. Have to full cast, because he's not really replaceable. Closest he ever come is John Culture, and that really wasn't close enough. But there you go, Doctor Never, the Doctor Who's that we never saw and that we wish we did. And I just came up with the name of the thumbnail. That's gonna happen. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.